Hey guys, Danny here with Let a Rip Tater Chip channel. Today I am going to be speaking about Pantera, what they mean to me, and what they should mean to you as a metal fan. Pantera's been around since mid to late 80s. They've been, you know, um, played everywhere, all over the world, influenced many musicians, people, just inspired. And for me, um, growing up, Pantera was like the highest you could get. Just because you know when I was younger, the first Pantera album I really heard. I mean, besides a few songs here and there on the radio, full length album was Far Beyond Driven. And that's the one with the skull and the screw bit coming through it. Unless you get a bootleg, which is pretty fancy if you find the bootleg version of the album cover. But Pantera and Dimebag, more or less, are the reason why I play guitar, the reason why how I play guitar. It was one of those things when I was growing up. I wanted to be a musician, and I wanted to play drums. And when we went to a music store, I kind of wanted to go start playing drums, but my sister insisted she played drums, and I ended up grabbing the guitar, which is probably the best non-decision I had. They are a foundation of heavy metal. If it wasn't for them during the 90s, metal music probably would have went deep underground. But they kept it at the forefront. That's why Phil always said the trend is dead, because they wiped out all that nonsensical crappy music during the 90s and kind of just powered forward through it. Um, and again, they are more or less the reason why metal music survived during the 90s. Also, there wouldn't be many bands without Pantera. Bands that you guys probably like Lamb of God, Havoc, Goat Whore, and many more of like the thrash metal bands that came into the late 90s, early 2000s, and even now, bands that are starting up, and Pantera and Dimebag is one reason why they're around and why they play the way they play. I myself don't want to see Pantera or the legacy of Dimebag fade away, because my generation is getting older, and it's one of those things. If we don't keep it alive, the younger generations won't know who they are or where they came from. Dimebag himself still influences a lot of musicians, including myself. Being a guitar player, he is one of the pinnacle guitar players you want to achieve to be if you're a metal musician, or even just a guitar player in general. He has an impact even still this day. He's been gone for almost 16 years now. He's still has that impact. Dime didn't just reinvent the steel. He reinvented guitar himself. Just just the way he plays, just the way he feels. Dime is something I and you and everyone else that plays guitar or metal music should inspire to be. Coming from very humble beginnings, and still, act that way when success came. Even when Pantera went down and Diamond Benny started a new project, they never, woe is me kind of thing. They just all right, it's done. Let's move on, start something new, and keep it going. Dime, the way he plays guitar is so soulful, full of heart, toughness with the heaviness of it, beyond talented, technique out the fucking door, and most of all, every note that he plays on any album, whether it's Pantera, Damage Plan, David Allen Co., things he did elsewhere, every note has meaning. It's just not a monotonous thing. Every note has thought, every note has presence, every note has meaning. It means something. There's a reason why he played that. To my younger up and coming metalheads, you guys need to reflect on this. And I know there's people to this day that don't know who Pantera is and listen to metal music. And you got to think of their main reason why metal music is still around, at least here in the States. It's one of those things where you need to look at the bands that, if you're a musician or if you're just a listener, you need to look at the bands that inspired the band you like or love. There's a reason that band is here, and not necessarily meaning it's Pantera or anything, but there are reasons why those bands are here. For me, guitar player wise, I'm here because of Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Dimebag Darrell, Zakk Wylde, Yngwie Malmsteen, many, many more guitar players that have influenced me. Tony Iommi, Angus Young, just for a few couple, I have another video of my top guitar players, but Michael Schenker. But, that's where we need to backtrack and look instead of just I love that band, just keep moving forward. Well, look at bands that are like them. Look at bands that inspired them. Do your research, do your due diligence, and learn and love where they came from. It's one of those things where, for instance, with Pantera, they were huge Van Halen and Kiss fans. They sound nothing like them, but does Dime and Vinny and the rest of the guys use their influence guitar-wise and drumming-wise and singing-wise and bass-wise? Yeah, you can hear a lot of it in there. They don't sound like it, but they are taking things from those bands to use and to mold into something that is theirs. And that's where we need to stop and reflect and look back on where, again, for me, this is for Pantera, but your bands, where they came from, what they're trying to achieve. This is where I want to use this platform to keep Pantera and Dime alive. I want to influence you guys to listen, to learn, to love this music and keep it alive. I'm sure some kid 20 years from now that's not even born yet will hear a Pantera song or a Dimebag song and be like, holy shit, where's this guy now? And unfortunately, they're going to do their research and find out what happened and what went on. But they're going to learn and to love where they came from and why they were there. There's a reason why Pantera was there in time. And for me, I wouldn't be a musician if it wasn't for Pantera. And I hope for you guys that listen, if they weren't there, you wouldn't be here either. There's a lot of guitar players I listen to that have that Dime influence, and if Dime wasn't here, they probably wouldn't be even a musician, And that's all I'm asking is my my younger generations that are up and coming and what have you, let Pantera in and just don't blow them off. They are way beyond talented. In some ways, they are underrated, I believe. You know, yeah, they're held as a very high metal band. Diamond's held as a very high guitar player, but in my opinion, they should be even higher. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to look back on bands you love and find out who their influences are, and also as inspires you to make and create music that is beyond amazing. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, do all that stuff you gotta do down below: likes, shares, comments, subscribe, follow my stream as well. But again, other than that, always remember, guys, let her rip, Tater chip.